Hi, good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, your one-stop for the biggest news stories from India and across the globe. My name is Aishwarya and these are the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate a Global Entrepreneurship Summit in Hyderabad. 3-day gathering of entrepreneurs and investors, women the majority participants. US President's advisor Ivanka Trump to lead the US contingent. Prime Minister Modi to launch a metro rail in Hyderabad. The Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao to take the inaugural ride along with the Prime Minister across 4 stations. Metro to be open to public from tomorrow. Campaigning gains momentum for the first phase of assembly polls in Gujarat. The Prime Minister Modi addresses multiple rallies, calls the election a fight between trust in the idea of development and dynastic politics. Indonesian authorities to evict people forcibly around rumbling Mount Agung volcano in Bali. Island's main airport to close for another 24 hours due to ash fall. And in cricket, India pulls off an emphatic victory by an innings and 239 runs over Sri Lanka in their second test in Nagpur, go 1-up in the 3-match series. Our top story this morning is from Hyderabad. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today inaugurate the Global Entrepreneurship Summit there. The 3-day summit is being hosted for the first time in Southeast Asia by the governments of India and the United States. Now, this is the 8th edition of GES, described as the preeminent gathering of entrepreneurs, investors and supporters from around the world. It will also be the first GES in which over 52.5% of women are participating. With the theme of Women First, Prosperity for All, a number of leading female voices will speak at the summit. More than 10 countries will be represented by an all-female delegation, including from Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia and Israel. Summit will also see an increased focus on encouraging women participation in business, spurring innovation and also deepening Indo-US business ties.
This year's summit theme demonstrates the commitment of the United States and Indian governments to the principle that when women are economically empowered, their communities and countries thrive. Women entrepreneurship helps drive innovation and job creation, as well as address the world's greatest and most critical challenges.
The Global Entrepreneurship Summit is really just another very significant sign of the strong partnership that the United States and India have across a broad range of issues, including economic issues, entrepreneurship, innovation, how we can help women, youth obtain jobs and advance prosperity in our countries, but not only for our countries, but working together for countries around the world.
And Ivanka Trump, a daughter and advisor to US President Donald Trump, is in India for the annual Global Entrepreneurship Summit, co-hosted by India and the US, that starts from today. In a tweet, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Ravish Kumar welcomed the special guest. Now, accompanied by several top administration officials, a large number of Indian Americans are part of Ivanka Trump's delegation, which totals 350 from 38 states. The theme of this year's summit is Women First, Prosperity for All, and will include 1,200 young entrepreneurs, most of whom are women. Ivanka Trump will give a keynote address at the inaugural session today, along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. PM Modi will also be hosting a dinner for the US President's daughter at Hyderabad's Falaknuma Palace. And before taking part in the GES, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the much-awaited Hyderabad Metro Rail today. The 30-kilometer-long first phase of the Metro Rail project between Miapur and Nagol have 24 stations and would be launched by the Prime Minister this afternoon at Miapur station. Its commercial operations would start a day after. Now, during its inaugural run, Prime Minister Modi and Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao will travel by the metro from Miapur to Kulatpally and back. The trains would run from 6 in the morning to 10 in the evening. Each train would initially have 3 coaches and 330 people can travel in each coach. The Hyderabad Metro line will eventually be a 72-kilometer elevated stretch which will be completed by next year. It is the largest such public-private partnership project. And let's get you all the news now from pole-bound Gujarat. The scrutiny of nomination for the second phase of assembly elections will be taken up today. The last date for the withdrawal is 30th of November. And polling for the second and the last phase in Gujarat will be held on 14th of December in 93 constituencies. Earlier, 977 candidates were left in the fray for the first phase of assembly polls. That will be held on 9th of December. Election campaigns of BJP and the Congress are gaining momentum in the state. 89 seats of Saurashtra and South Gujarat region are going to polls in the first phase, while the remaining 93 seats in central and northern region would go to the polls in the second phase. And on Monday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the BJP campaign in the state, addressing 4 back-to-back rallies through the day. Now, speaking in Gujarati, the Prime Minister sought to strike an emotional chord with the crowds, while also questioning the opposition Congress on a range of issues. Here are the details.
Modi je cha vetse desh vechwanu paap kyare nahi kare ye lakhe rakjo.
Pushing the BJP's campaign in Gujarat into high gear, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed multiple rallies in the state on Monday. In Bhuj town in Kutch district, the Prime Minister chose to call the upcoming assembly election a fight between trust in the idea of development and dynastic politics. He also answered allegations against him by Congress leaders.
भाइयों बहनों, आज चुटनी एक तरफ विकास और विश्वास से तो बीजी तरफ वंशवादનું વરબુ રૂપ છે. અને કોંગ્રેસના મિત્રો ગુજરાત તમને ક્યારે માફ નથી કરવાનું.
The Prime Minister also questioned Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi over his stand on the Doklam issue. He claimed that the opposition party dislikes him because of his poor origins.
જ્યારે દેશનો સિપાહી માઇનસ ટેમ્પરેચરમાં 70 દિવસ સુધી ડોકલામમાં હિન્દુસ્તાનની આન બાન શાન ખાતર ચીનની સામે આંખમાં આંખ મિલાવીને ઊભો હતો, ત્યારે તમે ચીનના રાજદૂત જોડે ગલે લગાવીને આ કયું ગલે લગાવવાનું પરાક્રમ હતું તમારું? કોના લાભાર્થ હતો? સવાલ તમને પૂછું છું. જ્યારે દેશના જવાનોએ સર્જિકલ સ્ટ્રાઇક કરી.
In Amreli, Prime Minister Modi said his government is on a mission to give citizens of the country what they should have got 50 years ago.
આપ મને કહો, શું આ દેશને લૂંટવા દેવો જોઈએ? આ દેશને લૂંટવા દેવો જોઈએ? જે લોકો લૂંટી ગયા છે પાછું આવવું જોઈએ કે ના આવવું જોઈએ? જે ગરીબોનો હક લઈ ગયા છે એ પાછો મળવો જોઈએ કે ના મળવો જોઈએ? અને એના માટે હું લડાઈ લડું છું. ગમે તેટલી તાકાતો મારી સામે આવે, હું આ છોડવાનો નથી. આ દેશના ગરીબ સામાન્ય માનવી માટેની મારી લડાઈ છે. જેને આજથી 50 વર્ષ પહેલા મળવું જોઈતું હતું, જેને મળ્યું નથી, ये अपावानी में जुम्बेश उपाड़ी छे एना हक को अपावानी जुम्बेश उपाड़ी छे.
Prime Minister Modi ended his day of rallies with an address in Surat. Polling for the two-phase elections in Gujarat for as many as 182 seats will take place on the 9th and 14th of December. Votes will be counted on the 18th of December. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And news from Uttar Pradesh now. Campaigning for the third in the last phase of urban local body polls concluded in Uttar Pradesh on Monday, and polling will be held on Wednesday in the 233 local bodies spread over 26 districts, including 5 municipal corporations of Saharanpur, Moradabad, Bareilly, Firozabad and Jhansi under this phase. The Election Commission reviewed poll preparedness through video conferencing. A total of 28,209 candidates are in the fray. Counting of votes of all the 3 phases will be held on 1st of December. And Pakistani troops opened fire at Indian posts along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district late on Monday in violation of the ceasefire. As per reports, Indian troops effectively and appropriately responded to the firing. The firing reportedly lasted for 15 minutes. No injury or damage was reported from the Indian side. The former Planning Commission member N.K. Singh has been appointed as the chairman of the 15th Finance Commission. The commission has been formed to look into the impact of the GST on finances of both the centre and the states. The commission will also review several important aspects of federal fiscal finance. The panel will also make recommendations by October 2019 for 5 years, commencing 1st of April 2020. Other members of the commission include former Economic Affairs Secretary Shaktikanta Das and former Chief Economic Advisor Ashok Lahiri. Union Minister K.J. Alphonse took oath as a Rajya Sabha member on Monday in the presence of Upper House Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu, Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian and Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Vijay Goyal were also present on the occasion. Earlier in a by-poll this month, Alphonse was elected unopposed to the Rajya Sabha from Rajasthan. K.J. Alphonse is a 1979 batch IAS officer. He began his political journey by becoming an independent MLA backed by the CPIM in Kerala in 2006. He joined the BJP in 2011. Our correspondent Ravendra Singh met K.J. Alphonse right after the oath ceremony. Let's take a listen.
We have now been joined by the Minister of State for Tourism and Telecommunication Electronics, Mr. K.J. Alphonse. He has just taken the oath as member of the Rajya Sabha. Sir, what will be your priorities? Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I'm so deeply honored to be a member of this august house. It brings in so much responsibility to be the voice of the voiceless, of the deprived, of the downtrodden, and really bring dignity to their lives. And I will use this forum to do exactly that. And I'll try to bring the voice of the people, of the citizen, to the House. And of course, as a minister, it would also be my job to be part of the Prime Minister's dream, to do things and execute things and make sure that this dream gets realized and reaches the last man out there, the last woman out there.
Sir, you are entering into the House of the Elders, the Council of State, Rajya Sabha is called as. What will be your priority? What do you think that you have closely watched the proceedings of the House? What do you think the new changes you will bring in?
Well, I'm a fresh member in the House, so I really I don't have parliamentary experience. I was a member of the Assembly only earlier, so my first job is to learn how things happen, and then eventually to, of course, to be a responsible member of the Parliament and to be a responsible minister who will be accountable to the Parliament.
You have been a bureaucrat for a long time, sir. Now, the main responsibility of a bureaucrat is to execute the laws which has been made here. Now you are here to make the laws for the country. How you find yourself comfortable in the new role, sir?
I think that's very interesting. Moving from execution to making the law, that's a big step, and it puts such constitutional responsibility on me. And I pray to God to give me the wisdom to be able to live up to the expectations of people and the Constitution of India.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you.
And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
From a regional power to an assertive global leader.
Image building is a very complex exercise. You can gain on some fronts, but you can lose on other fronts.
India is changing, and there will have to be give and take. The old days of colonialism are over.
We have a strategic partnership agreement that includes areas of cooperation in all fields, including security and defense.
India is taking confident stride on the global stage.
Pakistan is now Terroristan.
New friendships, stronger ties. Join me, Tracy Shilshi, every Monday at 10 p.m. as I speak to India's foreign policy elite. Catch all the action on India's World, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back after the break. Home Minister Rajnath Singh, who is on a 3-day visit to Russia, met his Russian counterpart Vladimir Kolokol on Monday. Both the leaders held wide-ranging talks in Moscow. They asserted that there are no good or bad terrorists and the menace of terrorism should be fought jointly. An agreement on combating terrorism was also signed between the two strategic partners. In a tweet, Home Minister Rajnath Singh said that the new agreement between India and Russia will replace the October 1993 agreement and will help expand and deepen cooperation on issues relating to internal security. Leaders of both the nations also agreed to cooperate in combating new challenges, enhance the exchange of information, cooperate in building a database, and in training of police and investigative agencies as well. And the Supreme Court on Monday interacted with the Kerala women Hadiya in alleged love jihad case, after which the Apex Court has sent her to Salem in Tamil Nadu to pursue her studies. The Apex Court has asked the Kerala police to provide Hadiya with the security and ensure that she travels to Salem at the earliest. In her interaction with the court, Hadiya said that she wanted to go with her husband Shafi Jahan. The court has now fixed the hearing on the plea against Kerala High Court order annulling their marriage to the 3rd week of January next year. The Supreme Court also directed the college and the university concerned to readmit Hadiya and grant her hostel facility as well. It appointed the dean of the Salem-based homeopathic college as Hadiya's guardian and granted him liberty to approach it in case of any problem.
And we are happy that she has been permitted to continue her studies, and her marriage, which has been set aside by the High Court, has not been stayed at all. So there is no marriage as of now. She will continue with her studies. We are happy with that.
Sir, but she has talked about the freedom.
Yeah. I mean, she has the freedom to continue her studies. I mean, I am preparing for the father. We are happy that she has been sent to the hostel for completion of her studies.
The Supreme Court is likely to set up a constitution bench next week to hear the issue of stay against mandatory linking of Aadhaar with bank accounts, mobile phone numbers, etc. The matter was mentioned before a bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra, who said that the court would take it up in the week to come. On 30th of October, the Apex Court had referred all the Aadhaar cases to a 5-judge constitution bench to be formed by the end of November. Till such time, the government can continue to use Aadhaar for its various programs. Meanwhile, the centre has agreed to extend the deadline for mandatory linking of Aadhaar to 31st of March next year. Currently, the last date to link Aadhaar with your PAN and bank accounts is 31st of December, while for mobile numbers, it is 6th of February next year. The petitioners challenging the Aadhaar scheme have been pressing for an interim stay order on the government's decision. But the bench, also comprising Justice A.M. Khanvilkar and D.Y. Chandrachud, said that only the Constitution bench will pass an interim order on the matter. Let's get you all the international action now. Indonesian authorities will be forcibly evicting people who have not left their homes around a rumbling volcano in Bali. This comes after tens of thousands of people stayed put near Mount Agung even after an alert was raised to its highest level. The ash-spewing volcano has forced the closure of the island's airport for the second day today, leaving thousands of people stranded in the tourist hotspot. Nearly 60,000 passengers stranded at Bali's airport for the second consecutive day. Some 450 flights have been cancelled or delayed as Mount Agung continues to spew ash. 5 alternative airports have been prepared for the airlines to divert inbound flights.
I'm a little bit frustrated because I checked the internet 15 minutes ago, everything was scheduled, and now I'm standing here and everything is closed. So I got the information very late.
We have gotten no information because the gates to the card to check in has been closed indefinitely. So we don't know what's the plan. So most likely we have to stay overnight.
We had planned to go back to Adelaide in South Australia this evening. We actually got here quite early, but now we've found that the flights have been cancelled. Now, we weren't notified by Jetstar in advance of us getting here, so we're very disappointed about that.
TV footage shows coal lava or lahar flowing at a number of locations on the mountainside. Lahar carrying mud and large boulders can destroy houses, bridges and roads in its path. Plumes of smoke can be seen billowing out of the volcano, with sound of the weak blast being heard up to 12 kilometers.
Tadi pagi, Kepala BVMBG menetapkan status Gunung Agung status awas level 4. Artinya level tertinggi dari Gunung Agung. Dan kemungkinan akan terjadinya letusan-letusan yang lebih besar pada sebelumnya sangat tinggi, apalagi masih beberapa indikasi menunjukkan memang akan terjadi letusan. Bahkan letusan sejak kemarin sudah disertai dengan letusan-letusan yang eksplosif.
Residents living near the lava have been asked to immediately evacuate the danger zone, which circles Agung in a radius of 8 to 10 kilometers. However, tens of thousands of people continue to stay put near Mount Agung, prompting authorities to say that those who have not left their homes around the rumbling volcano may be forcibly evicted.
Yang jelas tadi ada laporan beberapa banjar sudah kita dari Karangasem sudah memasuki beberapa banjar pos-pos kemarin itu sudah kembali lagi. Cuma jumlahnya belum kita dapatkan secara pasti. Seperti di Tojan sudah masuk, di Gegel juga sudah mulai masuk, pengungsi di Gakah juga sudah mulai masuk seperti itu.
Agung's last eruption in 1963 left more than 1,000 people dead and razed several villages. Bali is a major tourist attraction with nearly 5 million people visiting last year. Business has also been affected since September when the volcanic tremors began to increase. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Let's get you some more international news now in World Wrap. The latest round of UN-mediated talks on Syria peace process will begin in Geneva from today. However, UN Special Envoy for Syria says that the Syrian government delegation has not confirmed its presence. The 8th round of Geneva talks is supposed to focus on the issue of elections and a constitution for a political settlement to the Syrian crisis. The Syrian opposition delegation is aiming for the removal of President Bashar al-Assad. Pope Francis held talks on Monday with Myanmar's military chief at the start of a delicate visit to a majority Buddhist country that the US has accused of ethnic cleansing against its Rohingya refugee people. The army chief told the Pope that there is no religious discrimination in Myanmar and that there is a freedom of religion. The leader of the Roman Catholic Church will also visit Bangladesh, where more than 6 lakh Rohingyas have fled to escape Myanmar's military crackdown in Rakhine State. After the US, France has also conveyed its anguish to Pakistan over the release of Mumbai terror attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed, who heads the UN-proscribed outfit Jamaat-ud-Dawa. Paris has conveyed its deep concern to Pakistan over the release of Hafiz Saeed, whose outfit was listed as a terror group by the Sanctions Committee of the United Nations. PTI has reported that France and India will continue their relentless efforts to combat terrorism and enhancing cooperation to deal with the menace. Let's get you all the sporting action, and India pulled off a stunning victory against Sri Lanka in the second test in Nagpur, taking a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. The hosts pulled off an innings and 239-run win over the hapless Sri Lankan side in a remarkably one-sided match, a surprising development after the events in Kolkata. The victory margin is identical to India's test win over Bangladesh in Mirpur in 2007 when Rahul Dravid was captain. The Nagpur test witnessed Virat Kohli slamming his 5th test double ton and R. Ashwin becoming the fastest to 300 test wickets among other milestones. The third and the final test will take place at the Firozshah Kotla in New Delhi starting the 2nd of December. Meanwhile, skipper Virat Kohli has been rested for the ODI series against Sri Lanka starting on 10th of December. The 15-member squad will be led by Rohit Sharma. And in more good news for India, India's top Qist Pankaj Advani has won the title of the World Snooker Championship. Pankaj Advani defeated Amir Sharkhosh of Iran 8-2 to win the 15-frame IBSF World Snooker Championship in Doha on Monday. Earlier, on 12th of November, Advani had won his 17th world title at the same venue when he had won the IBSF World Billiards Championship, defeating Mike Russell of England. And Asian champion Bajrang Punia and Vinod Kumar settled for silver medals at the Under-23 World Wrestling Championship in Poland after losing their respective finals on Monday. Bajrang lost the 65kg final 6-17 to Russian Gabler Kuar, while Vinod lost 1-3 to American Richard Lewis. India finished with 3 medals at the event. Ritu Bhogat had earlier won a silver medal in the women's 48kg final 2 days ago. And the 48th edition of International Film Festival of India will conclude in Goa today, and Bollywood actor Salman Khan will close the International Film Festival of India, which began on 20th of November. The film festival was inaugurated by Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan at a glittering ceremony at the Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Indoor Stadium in Panaji. Information and Broadcasting Minister Smriti Irani and Goa Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar also attended the function. The 9-day extravaganza saw over 195 films from over 82 nations being screened. And that's it from me and my team in this edition of News. Thanks for watching.